Hello everyone, this is Mr. S, and today we're going to go over percent proportions. So for this lesson, we're going to learn how to find what percent of this number is this number, what percent of 5 is this. That's what we're going to be doing in this lesson. And to first start it off, this is the formula we're going to be using this whole entire lesson. It's A over W equals P over 100. And what do each of these letters represent? I wrote it out here. P represents percent. A represents the part of the number, and W represents the whole of number, and the P is always over 100. The percent is always over 100. So now let's answer a question. What percent of 15 is 12? So first let's start plugging it in. So as you can see, I already did this. We had some complications, so I had to re-record the whole entire video, but that's fine. So I'm gonna redo it with you guys. So what percent of 15 is 12? So they're saying of 15. So I know, I'm gonna first set up my little fractions over here. I know that since it's of 15, what percent of 15? 15 is going to be the whole. And they're saying what percent of 15 is 12? 12 is going to be the parts. And then all you do is, we're looking for the percent here. So I'm gonna put P because we don't know what the percent is. And P is always over 100. So it's very easy on how to find out what P equals. All you do is multiply both sides by 100. So what happens on this side is, obviously when you're multiplying a whole number with fractions, you're going to put a denominator of 1. Then 100 times 12 obviously equals 1200. And then 1 times 15 equals 15. And then what's going on this side is, obviously this has a denominator of 1. What you can do is cross multiply. So since this is 100 and 100, these cancel each other out, and it's just going to be P over 1. So now I'm going to move on to the next portion where we divide this. So obviously we can't leave this fraction like this. So we're going to divide 1200 divided by 15. Of course, for your homework, you can use a calculator. So you'll easily know that 1200 divided by 15 equals 80. And we're just going to bring down the P. So our answer, our percent equals 80. So what percent of 15 is 12? 80%. Let's try another example. Okay, so for our next example, we're going to do what percent of 5 is 3? So now let's get into it. So it says, what percent of 5 is 3? So first we're gonna start writing up our percent proportion. And of course, I'm gonna set up this side first because it's easier. We're looking for the percent, and the percent is always over 100. And we're looking, what percent of 5 is 3? So since it's of 5, I'm gonna put 5 at the bottom. And what percent of 5 is 3? I'm gonna put 3 at the top. So just like how we did in our last equation, we're gonna multiply both sides by 100. Obviously, these are going to cancel each other out, and it has a denominator of 1. So it's just going to be P over 1, or just P. And then on this side, it has a denominator of 1. 100 times 3 equals 300. And 1 times 5 equals 5. So now, of course, we're going to have to divide this. So for this one, I'm actually going to divide it with you. So we're going to do, how many times can 5 go into 300? Let's see. So 5 can go into 3, but 5 can go into 30. How many times? 6 times. 6 times 30 equals, 6 times 5 equals 30. 30 minus 30 equals 0. We're going to bring down the 0. How many times can 5 go into 0? 0 times. 0 times 5, 0, blah, blah, 0. So our answer is going to be 60 equals P. So what percent of 5 is 3? 60%. Easy peas. So for this last equation, I want you to do this one all by yourself. I know it might look a little harrowing, especially because it's a little bit different, but I believe that you could do this all by yourself. So I want you to pause it right now, and I want you to try to do it by yourself, and then I'm going to do it with you, and let's see if you got it correct. So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, let's jump straight in. So there's two things that are different about this equation. For one, the part is actually bigger than the whole. If it's of 20, if we want to find what 24 is, what percent of 20, then this is the whole. So the part is bigger than the whole. So let's see what happens when you have that scenario. And another difference is that I kind of rephrased the way the question is asked. If you look at your last questions, it was asked differently. This one, I asked it a little, well, the textbook asked it a little bit differently. So, but I'm going to show you exactly how to answer it. So first I'm gonna put the equal sign there, and since we're looking for the percent, I'm just gonna put P, and then the percent is always over 100. And like I said from before, if it's of 20, 24 is what percent of 20, then obviously 20 is the whole, so it's going at the bottom. And 24 is what percent of 20, 24 is the part, so I'm putting 24 at the top. So what you're gonna do is exactly what we were doing before. You're gonna multiply both sides by 100. So same thing happens here. These hundreds cancel each other out, and it's just going to be P over 1. And then we're gonna do 100 over 1. 100 times 24 equals 2400. And then 1 times 20 equals 20. So now let's go ahead and start dividing. So I'm gonna just divide it over here. How many times? I hope I have no space over here. How many times can 20 go into 2400? So 20 can go into 2, but 20 can go into 24. How many times? 1 time. Then 1 times 20 equals 20. Subtract 24 minus 20 equals 4. Bring down the 4. How many times can, bring down the 0, my bad. How many times can 20 go into 40? It can go in 2 times. 2 times 20 equals 40. So when we subtract that, that's 0. When we bring down the last 0, how many times can 20 go into 0? 0 times 20, blah, blah, blah. So our answer is going to be 120. It's going to be 120 equals P. Oh, my bad. So 120 equals P. So what 24 is what percent of 20? 120%. So this should be your answer. So of course, if you got it wrong, that's okay. We're learning together. All I want you to do is just rewrite it and put the correct way to do it in your notebook. And if you got it correct, very good job. You're a genius. I know you could do it. Let's do another example. So far in our last few examples, we've been finding the percent, but now we're going to be finding the parts. So what does that mean? Let's say we want to do an equation that is what number is 0.5% of 200? Question mark. So you find what number is 0.5% of 200. So already this is a slam dunk, because did you guys know that decimals can be percents? I guess you know now. So what is that going to look like? So I'm going to put up my percent proportion. So in this sense, we're trying to look for the parts. What number is 0.5% of 200? So we know that the whole, if it's of 200, the whole is going to be 200. And plus we know the percent here, the percent is 0.5. And the percent is always over 100. No matter what, the percent is always going to be over 100. But what we're looking for is the part, the A. So what you're going to do here is super duper easy. All you're going to do is multiply the whole on both sides. So you're going to multiply 200 on this side, because that's the whole, and 200 on this side. So obviously on this side, just like how it happened on the last few equations, the whole, since it's the same number, they're going to cancel each other out. And then it's going to just be A over 1. And then on this side, we're going to multiply. So 100 times 1, I like to do the easier for one first. 100 times 1 equals 100. And then let's multiply 0.5 times 200 to the side here. So I'm going to do 200 times 0.5. So 0 times 5 equals 0. 0 times 5 equals 0. 2 times 5 equals 10. And then that's just about it. Because if I multiplied all the numbers by 0, it would just be 0. So therefore, since we're done, there's one number behind the decimal point. So I'm going to move the decimal point over 1. So therefore, our answer is just 100. So therefore, it's going to be 100 over 100. And then after we divide that, the part is going to be, what's 100 divided by 100? That equals 1. So therefore, what number is 0.5% of 200? The answer is 1. That is your answer. So let's do another example. So for our next example, I'm kind of going to give you an easier one. I'm going to do, what number is 80% of 60? Question mark. What number is 80% of 60? So I'm going to already start making my percent proportion. So let's start with the percent this time. The percent is obviously 80, and always know the percent is over 100. And we don't know the part here. We're looking for the part, but we do know the whole. So I'm going to put 60 here, and we're looking for the part, so I'm just going to put A. So just like how we did last time, we're going to multiply both sides by the whole. So what is the whole here? 60. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 60, multiply by 60. So this cancels out because I gave this 60 a denominator of 1. So therefore these will cancel each other out, and it'll just be A over 1. And on this side, I'm going to put this 60 over 1. Then think about it. What's 8 times 6? 48. But if I add 2 zeros, then it's going to be 4,800. So that's a little trick for you guys. 8 times 6 equals 48. So 80 times 60 would be 4,800. Now I'm going to bring down, so 100 times 1, I'm going to bring down the same denominator. However, I'm gonna have to, I can't leave the answer just like this. I need to leave it in its simplest term. So I need to divide it by 100. So a little cheap hack that you can do, always remember at this step, whenever you're dividing a number by 100, you just move the decimal place to the left 2 places. So 1, 2. So therefore our answer is 48. So what number is 80% of 60? 48. Okay, so for this last equation, it's kind of a little spicy, but it's not too hard. I only say it's spicy because I'm adding a decimal to it. And that question is 10% of 40.5 is what number? Question mark. So for this one, I'm not even going to say anything. I want you to pause it right here, and I want you to try to attempt to answer this one all by yourself. So review what exactly I did for the last 2 equations, and I want you to try to do this one by yourself. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds to pause. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now let's jump straight in. So 10% of 40.5 is what number? So let's go ahead and see. So of course for this one, they kind of phrased it a little bit differently as our last couple, but that's okay. We're pros at this, so we're going to do it well. So 10%. So we know that 10% is a percent, so I'm already going to put the percent at right there. And the percent is always over 100. And it says 10% of 40.5. Remember, that of is very important. If it's of 40.5, then that's the whole. 40.5. And since we don't know what the part is, it's just going to be A. So of course, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the whole on both sides. So I'm going to do times 40.5 times 40.5. So obviously, I'm going to give this one a denominator of 1. And since it's the same thing, if you cross multiply, it's just going to cancel each other out. So it's going to be A over 1. And for this one, I'm going to give it a denominator of 1. So I like to do the easier one first. 100 times 1 equals 100. So today I'm going to teach you a second key. If you multiply 10 by a decimal, all you have to do is just move the decimal point 1 place to the right. So therefore, it's going to be 405. Of course, if you're unsure, you can multiply. You could plug it into the calculator just to be 100% sure. But whenever you multiply a number by 10, you just move the decimal point 1 place to the right. So that's going to be 405. However, next step, we have to divide this 405 by 100. So remember, like I said, you could plug this into a calculator. You could do 405 divided by 100. Or you can do my hack, where we're basically going to move the decimal point to the left 2 places. So 1, 2. So our answer is going to be A, the part is going to be 4.05. So 10% of 40.5 is what number? 4.05. So if you got this, very, very good job. If not, I want you to rewrite it again and do it the right way. So for our last 2 examples, we found the percent first, and then we found the parts, and now we're going to find the whole. So one of our questions is going to look like this. 150% of what number is 30? Question mark. So 150% of what number is 30? I'm sorry, I got caught off on the side over there. So let's go ahead and do it. So first things first, I'm going to set up my percent proportion. So for this situation, we know that the percent is 150 because it says 150%. And remember, the percent is always over 100. So in this case, our percent is over 100. And then next things next, we know that we're looking for the whole. So we have the parts. It says 150% of what number is 30. So we don't know what the number is, but we know that that's the whole, and we know that the part is 30. But we don't know what the whole is, so I'm going to put W for whole. So remember, that of is the key word. Of blank, if you're ever confused as to what the part is, what the whole is, you always know that the whole right in front of the whole is an of. They're going to say of blank, whatever's after the of is always the whole. So in this situation, we don't know what the whole is because it says of what number. So we put a W to summarize what it is. So in order to find out what the answer is going to be in this situation, you're simply going to cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply the 30 by 100 and the W by 150. And you're going to do a little bit of algebra. So let's see what that looks like. So first you're going to do 30 times 100. And then you're going to do 150 times W. So let's do this left one on the side. So 30 times 100, all you're gonna do is add those 2 zeros to the 30. So that's gonna turn into 3,000. And since this 150 and this W are unlike terms, we don't know what the W is, we're just gonna keep it just like that. And then in this scenario, if we remember our algebra from the past, we wanna find out what W equals. So since this 150 is being multiplied by the W, you're going to do the opposite and divide both sides by 150. So obviously, this 150 is going to cancel out the 150 and it's going to be W, but we're going to have to do some division over here on the side. So how many times can 150 go into 3,000? So of course, I allow you to use your calculator if you need it, but for right now, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. So 150 can't go into 3, 150 can't go into 30, 150 can't even go, but 150 can go into 300. So think about it. If 15 can go into 30 twice, then I'm guessing 150 can go into 300 twice. So I'm going to put a 2 here. 2 times 150 equals 300. So 300 minus 300 equals 0. And then we're going to bring down the 0. How many times can 150 go into 0? 0 times. So 0 times 150, blah, 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 blah. So the answer is going to be 20. So 150% of what number is 30? 20. So 150% of 20 is 30. Let's do another. So for the second one, I'm going to also do kind of a tricky one. I'm going to do 0.1% of what number is 4? Question mark. So 0% of what number is 4? So we're going to get into our percent proportion. So we already know off the bat that our percent is 0.1. And it's, of course, the percent is always over 100. And so, of course, the of what number? We don't know. So we know, so it's the magic word of here, and we know what number, we don't know what the number, we don't know what the whole is, because the of is always in front of the whole. So I'm going to put a W here. And our parts, it says of what number is 4, our part is going to be 4. So just like how we did in the example before, we're going to cross multiply. So therefore, I'm going to multiply 4 times 100. And also, I'm going to multiply 0.1 times W. So, of course, 4 times 100 equals 400. And since these are unlike terms, it's just going to be 0.1 and the W is just going to be on the side, signifying that it's being multiplied. Since we want to find out what the W equals, we want to get the variable all by itself. And this 0.1 is being multiplied by the W. You're going to divide both sides by 0.1, divide by 0.1. So obviously these are going to cancel each other out and it's just going to be W. However, we don't know what 400 divided by 0.1 is. So let's go ahead and divide it to the side. Of course, you could plug this into a calculator, but you know, I'm doing it the old fashioned way. So I'm going to do how many times can 0.1 go into 400? So of course, when you're doing it like this, all you're going to do is move. First, you're going to move the decimal point 1 place forward. And when you do that, you have to move the decimal place one place forward as well on the number on the inside as well. So this is going to turn into how many times can 1 go into 4,000? So obviously 1 can go into 4,000 times if you're really looking at it. So our answer is going to be 4,000. So 0.1% of what number is 4? 4,000. For our last example, we're going to do a try it yourself portion. And our question is going to be 210% of what number is 84? Question mark. So as I said before, this is the try it yourself section. So for this question, I want you to pause it really quick and I want you to try to answer this all by yourself. It's not hard, you just saw me answer it twice. So I'm gonna count down to 3 and I want you to pause it and try it on your own. So 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, so by now you should have answered the whole entire question, so let's do it together. So it's 210% of what number is 84. So obviously I'm going to put up my percent proportion. And we know that the percent is 210 and the percent is always over 100. And since, as you see, the magic word is of, and if we don't have any number directly after the of, then we know it's going to be a W because we don't know what it is. And of what number is 84? So therefore 84 is the part. So as I said before, all you're going to do is just cross multiply. So it's going to be 84 times 100 equals 210 times W. So now, of course, 84 times 100, you're going to throw the 2 zeros at the end. So it's going to be 8,400. And then since these are like unlike terms, it's going to just be 210W. And like we always did before, we want to get the W all by itself. So since this 210 is being multiplied by the W, you're going to do the opposite and divide it by 210. And everything you do on one side, you get to do to the other side. So I'm dividing the 210 by the 8,400 by 210 as well. So obviously these are going to cancel each other out and it's just going to be W. And this 84, and then this answer, as we divide it, it's going to be, hey Siri, what's 8,400 divided by 210? So, according to Siri, according to my calculator, our answer is going to be 40. So W equals 40. So 210% of what number is 84? 40. 210% of 40 equals 84. I hope you guys learned all about how to work with percent proportions. I hope you guys understood it. If not, you can rewind it back. I hope you guys have a great day and God bless.